Man, what is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy B New. I am coming at you on this Thursday morning. First and foremost, as always, just want to send out positive vibrations to everybody. Hope that you're having a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Hope everybody have a wonderful 4th of July weekend coming up. If you get some days off, man, go ahead and take it easy. Do what you got to do. I do want to apologize for being MIA the past week or so. Just been a lot of things going on, with me and my family, that's making it very hard on me to maintain. So, we all have a lot of trials and tribulations that we go through, but the main thing is just to get up and keep pushing. And I know sometimes when you don't have the motivation to do so, you just got to find the motivation to do so. So I do apologize. And plus, not only that, this NBA playoffs postseason has been horrific. It's been horrible. Of course, I can have commentary on it and make analysis on it, and we can all talk and have a good time. But at the end of the day, all of these injuries, I'm telling you what, it's just made it a really bad postseason for the NBA. We all know Giannis went down the other night. That was a horrible injury to watch. Of course, Trae Young was hurt in that series. So who knew going into the series that both of your main stars would be injured? So it gives you a watered down product to watch as far as us being fans and enjoying the game. The games have still been entertaining for the most part, but with all the injuries, it's just been a lackluster playoff run, and that's unfortunate for the NBA. And before I get into the Phoenix Suns beating the Clippers last night and Chris Paul doing his thing and finally making it to a NBA Finals, let's just talk about some things that were discussed all over social media yesterday and maybe the day before. Of course, we all know Shaq ONeal did an interview saying, a lot of these players today are whining that they shouldn't be whining so much because they getting paid millions of dollars. They have to work out 2 hours a day and play 2 hours a night. Well, coming from Shaq, that does not surprise me. Of course, he has that old school mentality. And of course, a lot of people on social media saying, well, that's when men was men and players was players and things of that nature. But one thing I do want to point out to you all is this is not the same game that Shaq played. And I can guarantee you that. So once I start thinking about it, first of all, Shaq didn't nearly put the time into his body as some other players do as far as the offseason. And even Kobe said that because if Shaq did, they would have had 7 or 8 rings. But Shaq did not. So maybe Shaq doesn't know the level that it takes to maintain a real NBA body because he got by strictly off of being a huge person, backing people down. And I'm not saying Shaq didn't have any skills. I mean, he was a good passer for a big man, and he had a couple of nice moves. He had a soft touch around the basket, don't get me wrong, but the majority of his skill set came from just being big and backing people down. And eventually they changed those rules. If you can see in the Detroit Finals series, they started calling a lot of offensive fouls on Shaq that he was never getting called before, and that might have really threw him for a loop. But at the end of the day, I grew up watching basketball in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s or whatever. I didn't watch basketball in the 70s because I was just a baby. But I'm going to tell you something like this. I do know for a fact that the game changed then because I went back and I did some research. So right now, how many miles do you think NBA players run on a given game? Just in one game, up and down the court, up and down the court. These players are running 18 miles a game. Right now, there's the average is over 100 possessions a game. Now, that was the case in the 60s and 70s. You had a faster paced game. People were up and down the court all the way up into the 80s. The Showtime Lakers, they ran. So I don't know what their conditioning was like then. I mean, their shoes, I'm sure, was some crap because I saw some of them Converse they used to wear. So I'm pretty sure what their injuries were like. But like I said, I cannot attest to that. But one thing I can attest to is what I watched. And I went back and saw the research. And between, I want to say 1996, 97, all the way into 2010, there was the slowest pace in league history. like the average possession, and I'll even put a chart up. The average possession was maybe 95 or 96 possessions a game. The pace was a lot slower. It was just a lot of different things that contributed to this. And during Shaq's era, all you did was walk it down and throw it down to the big man and let them go to work. So it wasn't a lot of running up and down the court, so to speak. And Shaq always says what he would do in this era. Shaq, you had to get taken out of the game for breathers, my bro. Do you know how big you were? You weren't going to run up and down the court like the way these players do and some of these centers do. And you always quick to talk about Rudy Gobert and some of these other centers. Well, this isn't the same game, Shaq. I'm pretty sure if this was the old ways, then Rudy Gobert would be in the gym. He would be bigger, and he would develop more of a skill set. He would get a lot more touches, and he would score. But a lot of people wanted to direct this directly at LeBron James because LeBron James had made comments when all these injuries were occurring, saying that the players didn't get the proper rim rest, and that's why all these injuries were occurring, which I agree with a lot of that. But at the same time, a lot of these injuries were unavoidable injuries, such as the ones to Kyrie, his ankle, such as the ones to Giannis, the hyperextension of the knee, the fluke accident of Trae Young stepping on the referee's foot. I mean, all of these things are unavoidable. But when you talk about Donovan Mitchell not having the proper rest, you talk about Mike Conley not having the proper rest to have his hamstring healed. When you talk about James Harden, even though he had all those games off. So at the end of the day, I think LeBron does have some validity to the things that he is saying. But I don't understand why people get on here and just want to crucify this man so much, calling him out of his name, saying, oh, he's just a wussy, or whatever it is you want to call this man, because he spoke up for the players. Now, he's saying what all the other players are afraid to say, maybe publicly, but they do feel that way. And the NBA needs to look at some of these back-to-backs are not necessary. And they did a better job this year of not having as many back-to-backs. But if you need to add a couple of weeks to the season and stretch the season out to eliminate these back-to-backs to give us a better quality product, then I say do so. Or if you want to take 10 games off instead of 82, have 72 games. But of course, you know they don't want to do that because that is going to take away from their revenue. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I'm not going to dwell too much on that. But like I said, people always have something negative to say when it comes to LeBron James and that of his opinion. But if you can see the shape that he is in and the way he takes care of his body and how he prepares for the season, then I think he is pretty knowledgeable on how to condition the body and how the body works when it comes to playing in the association. So I would defer to LeBron on that, and I would not be listening to Shaq because, as you can see, he got bounced around like a damn ping pong ball at the end of his career because he was so out of shape. And if he was still in better shape, him and Dwayne Wade actually would have won more championships together, but of course, he was not. Then you went to Phoenix, then you went to Boston, then you went to Cleveland, and all you did, the only exercise you was doing was 1, 2, 3, eat, 1, 2, 3, eat. Lifting that spoon up to your fat ass face. So nobody trying to hear what you're talking about, Shaq. But then people want to come for people and talk about, oh, well, regular players get paid this. Listen, this is a capitalistic society. These players getting paid what they worth. If they weren't, then they wouldn't be getting paid that. How much are these damn owners getting paid? Man, I get so tired of hearing people sit up here doing all this crying all the time. You understand what I'm saying? So life is about choices. You are where you are because of the choices that you made. So at the end of the day, I know a lot of environment, everything else, a lot of things has something to do with that. Trust what I'm telling you. A lot of things have something to do with it. But at the end of the day, the choices that you make have a great bearing on where you are in life. So all the people who talking about, well, they get paid millions to do that. Well, you should have took your ass to basketball camp and tried out in school and went to AAU and ran 10 miles a day. But you didn't. So shut up. Talking about, well, I'll play back to back to back to back to back. Boy, the people who talking about they'll play back to back to back to back couldn't even last one quarter in the NBA and be coming out trying to catch a breath. Man, come on, man. Y'all need to quit it. Y'all need to quit it. But at the end of the day, man, congratulations to Chris Paul Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns. The way it's looking right now, I really hate that Antetokounmpo got hurt, because I was thinking, Milwaukee would win this series, and that with Milwaukee winning this series, at least we would have a decent final matchup between Phoenix and Milwaukee. But everybody who wanted to put an asterisk on the damn bubble, whatever, last year, well, I hope they want to put an asterisk on this championship this year, because this has been the most unstar-studded NBA playoff run that there has ever been. And I dare somebody to find it and look it up to see if I'm telling a lie. Because, every team has star players out. So to me, you want to place an asterisk by something, sure, it's fine if Chris Paul win a ring, good for him. But at the end of the day, what does that really mean? It'll be good for his legacy. Okay, maybe he got a ring. Who knows? The Hawks may get it. I don't know. But at this point, I don't even really give a damn. I'm about ready for the offseason and start talking some Lakers basketball and seeing what kind of moves the Lakers can make. But anyway, trying to get my nephew from work because this car done broke down or whatever the world going on. But they had to wake the great champion up out of his sleep at 6 o'clock in the morning to do this. But like I said, I'm not going to stress y'all. But let me get up off of this video so I can find where my nephew is, so I can get him squared away, and I'll probably maybe come back and chime in at y'all later on. But at the end of the day, I just want to say, man, sorry for being gone. We all, like I said, go through these trials and tribulations called life. I just, like I said, send positive vibrations for me, man. Pray for my son, my oldest boy, he going through a thing. So with all that being said, we need it. And as always, right on to the real, man, and much love to these haters, man. I'm out.